Okay, my friends, another shocker du jour. Look at this carefully. Just take your time. It almost looks like an embroidery of some fabric with embroidered ferns or something on it. Look at it close. Look at that. You see what I'm saying? It almost looked like somebody embroidered something on a map, and it's very nicely done. However, this is not embroidery. We're going to be looking at Myanmar, which had just had a 7.7 earthquake. This plays into this whole thing. Now, let me back out of here and show you what we're looking at. Okay, doesn't that look fabulous? Look at that. Now, let's back out of here. Look at this. This whole area, it has that same stuff going on. This is a little more spread out, but look at this one here. Look. This is biology, my friends. It's just stunningly large biology. There's some kind of transferation going on here where, you see, we're Mudfossil people. We understand this. There's some kind of different biology in here that's been separated by a membrane from out here. Usually when you see the real green foliage, it relates to real red blood. And something's happening between this and that. And it appears that there may be a change in there's something changing between the same stuff is here and over here, but here it's green, green, green. You know, some of this is by Google, yes, but I don't think all of it. I do know this is biology, and usually you can back out and get a pretty good idea where the green is. That's very, very green. That's not Google making that green. That's green. That's this color, whatever it is. Now, where are we as far as Myanmar goes? Well, it's way over here. Well, why would I be talking about this? Because I believe that is the nose of this gigantic dragon. There's his eye. And his beard comes down, and Myanmar is part of his beard, and it's soaked in chemistry down here. I mean, very serious transition metal chemistry. Whatever it's brewing up here. At one time, the beards are the source of toxins. I discovered that at Typhon. All the nasty stuff comes out of his beard. Now his beard, again, let me show you his eyeball. You want to see a dragon-coated eyeball? They look at it and they say, oh, these are just sand dunes. And I say, no, I don't think so. This is that little spot in the front of your eyeball where all that white stuff collects up there, and you can... My dog has terrible trouble with that stuff in his eye. No. Look at this. Just hold on and look at it. You tell me you think that's sand dunes? Let it focus in for a second. Takes a while. That's the problem with, you got to let it overlap and overlap until it finds itself. Alright, it's coming in. Those are not sand dunes. This is some kind of scaly stuff. See it? Look at that. All those are sand dunes. I don't think so. It's some kind of dragon lens. And it extends all the way up. And then there's a strange place, this cut across. It almost looks like something cut it or what, I don't know. And then you got this. Now, do they have like a membrane that comes over and coats it and comes back? Some, you see these, they show the eyeballs doing this and a big lens goes over and comes back. Maybe it has one of those. Because up here it's got the same sort of stuff. And then there's this membrane. Now that's a good size, that's a pretty heavy duty membrane. And it coats right up on the edge of it. Nobody put that in there. That's not a man-made thing. And this whole membrane from there to there, all the way across, coats up against this, whatever this is. And that is not sand dunes. That's not a sand dune. Now, does it go over the top of the rest of the eyeball? It might. It's sitting right here. It might go right over the top. See, the bottom's got the same sort of pinched up stuff. So now, I claim this is the beard. If you follow his face down here, where we were looking for before was his nose. And I think this is where he smells. You see how, I think these are the little scent glands in his nose. Look at how you would pick up on everything coming in past that. If those were little scent glands or whatever, little sensors in the nose. That's pretty intricate system of whatever it does to sense. And I think that's right at the tip of his nose. Here's the one eye is over here, and it looks like it's leaking out. The other one is pretty clearly an eye. And this membrane right here is another, I think, part of a protective membrane that coats the eye. It clearly creates an abrupt transition. Right there. Anyway, as far as I'm concerned, the eyeball, I don't have a problem with that at all. Now, what about the beard? The beard is the source of the toxins. It's coming down here. Myanmar is right there. Let's follow the river down, because the river is the source of the toxins, and it's right on, basically on the river. All right, let's follow this river back. That's where Myanmar, 7.7. That's serious earthquake. And I've probably seen it on the news. Up in here is, it appears to be the where they're making the toxin. This yellow one is the source of the toxin. Follow it back, follow it back, follow it back, all the way up. That is the source of the toxin. It appears to be coming from up in this area is where it's brewed up. We just keep going back, going back, going back until we find out where it gets brewed. All right, it's right up in this area here. It comes up, and one goes this way and one goes that way. And that's what I found on the one for Typhon too. It splits. Watch up here, where this is where it's getting toxified, I think. All right, let's let this home in. Let me let it home in. It's going to stay right here. All right, so here it is. We're homed in on this now. And again, I think this is the source of the toxin that comes up out of this area up in here. what's going on here? I don't know. But if you follow it down, that's where it comes from. Now there's a couple other spots down here, very interesting. Like right over in here. If we follow it off to this side, it goes up. If you follow it right up to here, it's a whole nother set of stuff going on here. Look at this. This is all part of the same chemistry. Some of this is serious chemistry. I don't know what it's doing here, but that is not average things you just laying around out in the woods. You know, that's. You see all these little green lakes. Every time I see the dragon chemistry, I see these little green lakes. These are the same color lakes. Now, I'm not sure exactly what the chemistry is, but look at it. It's just everywhere. They're everywhere. And this is like a venom factory right here. I'm telling you, that's what's going on. The same thing over here. Same thing over here. Look at this over here. This is really bad. Look at this. Why would he be coming down with the brown and then changing into the yellow? I found that in Typhon, this exact same situation. It splits off into two different colors. Now, Typhon is green and yellow, I think. But look at this. And then you got Myanmar right down here where you got the bad earthquake. This whole region here, I would think something's going on there. But the main source of this stuff is coming down here, and this meets up together. I don't know. But at this point, I believe the beard ends here, probably. I don't think it's hanging way down here, but who knows. Anyway, that's his head. It comes down. And back up here, I think could be a horn or something. You see how it goes up in this area? Coming right off the top of his head. So, that's his eyeball. See, his nose comes down here. We were looking in his nose, all that, what I said looked embroidered. And then Myanmar is over here, hanging right off his beard. Now, here's Typhon's beard. Same thing. Right up at the end, right here's he has two beards. There's the one in the front. There's the one in the back. Now remember I said they could split off and have two different venoms, it looks like. The yellow stuff came over to this beard. Alright, see it coming down? And then it did this. It came down here and started to tube up like this. All along here into this to create venom. I'm sure it's creating venom down to about this spot here somewhere, or maybe even down this far. This looks like it's invading. These are mixing together. I don't know, but it ends out coming out. This one's yellow and feeds that way. This one's green and it makes all the noxious stuff that came down. And that's his beards. There's no question it's his beards. One here, one there, and there's his head. And all that nasty green stuff that was here got spit at the fish. All right, you see it all really, it doesn't get much nastier than that. And it all came down like a torrent. A great jet of fire from his mouth. Basically, it was. It's basically just like fire. It basically combusted down in this area. You see it? Even it's still smoking today. Look at that. And it just kept coming down, and it hit his back and his fin, and ate through, and some of it ended up showing up right down here, and his immune system tried to attack to save itself, and it couldn't. It killed the fish. You see all the green stuff? See? See where invading here? This green is invading the fish. The fish is sending over all this lymph fluid to try to pull away all that nasty stuff. See, it's sending all the lymph fluid over there, and sending the lymph fluid over here in torrents. It's intelligent. It knows what to do. These little lymph guys are saying, go, 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 get this, pull that stuff out of here. It's going to kill us. Well, it's just too powerful. So it kept trying to pull it away, and then of course it brought it down to where your lymph nodes are, which are here. And it brought it down and it killed the lymph nodes. The lymph nodes died. They have filters on them. And they bring the stuff in and they filter it out. And the bad stuff stays filtered until it can sort of work its way out. But in this case, there was just so much bad stuff. The filters just clogged up. And the nasty stuff just kept pouring through until, you know, it's got filters all the way around, but up here it just kept pouring through the filters until it killed the lymph nodes. See, it turned black, dead. It's dead. That's where all the processing is done to clean up the lymph, which has all the garbage in it. This is too much nasty stuff, it killed it. So instead of coming out of here nice and pink, it's coming out dead and black. And they all did the same thing all the way down, all the lymph nodes. So again, I've shown this many times. Sooner or later, somebody's going to see it and say, wow, let's take a look at this. It's just what it is. It's true. It was written about Apollodorus 1.6.3. Look it up. You should all read that whole area in there. It's about Typhon and the fish, about attacking the gods who changed themselves into animals. Typhon was out-topped all the mountains. His head often brushed the stars, it said. He had a red flared eye, which he does. Fire flashed from his eyes, is what they said, spouting a great jet of fire. He attacked the gods who changed themselves into, in this case, a fish, animals. So I guess that's, to me, it's as conclusive as it can possibly be. There's no room for missing that. None.